Hello and welcome to Spokane Buddhist Temple's virtual service. My name is Amanda Goodwin and I will be your MC. Your doshi for today's service will be Minister's Assistant Chad Donahoe. Before we begin, please know that we will be muting your microphones and it's recommended that you turn your camera off and switch your viewing mode to speaker view. To do this, just go to the upper right-hand corner of your screen and you should see View where you can choose Speaker View. If you do not want your picture or name shown as we are streaming to Facebook Live, please take this into account and update it accordingly. Chad will lead our opening chant, which is the Vandana Tisarana. The Vandana Tisarana can be found on page 5 in our service book. If you do not have your own service book, we'll be providing the pages as part of our screen share function.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to him, the exalted one, the enlightened one, the supremely awakened one. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam saranam gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham saranam gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham saranam gacchami. Tatyampi dhammam saranam gacchami. Tatyampi sangam saranam gacchami. Namo kye butsu. Namo kye ho. Namo kye so. I take refuge in Buddha. I take refuge in Dharma. I take refuge in Sangha. Namo Minabutsu. Namo Minabutsu. Namo Minabutsu. Namanda.
We will now read the golden chain number 1 on page 15. I am a link in Amita's golden chain of love that stretches around the world. I will keep my link bright and strong. I will be kind and gentle to every living thing and protect all who are weaker than myself. I will think pure and beautiful thoughts, say pure and beautiful words, and do pure and beautiful deeds. May every link in Amita's golden chain of love be bright and strong, and may we all attain perfect peace. Please turn to page 12 for the reading of the Jodo Shinshu Creed number 1. Together, please. Entrusting the vow of the Buddha and reciting the sacred name, I shall proceed through the journey of life with strength and joy. Revering the light of the Buddha, reflecting upon my imperfect self, I shall strive to live a life of gratitude. Following the teachings of the Buddha, discerning the right path, I shall spread the true Dharma. Rejoicing in the compassion of the Buddha, respecting and aiding one another, I shall do my best to work towards the welfare of society. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda. The sutra chant this morning will be given by Reverend Melissa Opal, and that's the Junirai on page 67.
Keishu tenin shokugyo Amida sen yozoku son Zai mi myo rako Muyo bushi shuinyu Konjiki shinjon yo sen no Shamata Nyo Zobu Ryomoku Shonyaku Shorenge Konga Chorai Mida Son Menzen and Jonyo Mangats Ikon Yunyo Senichigat Shonyo Tenku Kushira Konga Chorai Mida Son Kwan no Chonai Kwan Chiju Shudru Muso Shogun Nobukuge no Makeman Koga Chorai son無微無空故障上習得経血女国小サリ悪徳自在子が将来見出そう自本妙門もさし無料様上三段一生是九个力士子が将来見出そう根体保険地処刑前言症状明大座おひざ上女性の子が将来見出そう地方将来勝負し権限人図し安楽戦後尊厳欲行子が将来見出そう小無常無我と薬如水月伝よろ一種説法無名字子が将来見出そう非存不説無悪名薬無如に楽道符主任心心教非存子が将来見出そう非存無用法勉強無所修悪死心往生不退死菩提子が将来見出そう那説非存苦毒死修善無変如海水小逆前言症上上衛生主よ小非公ナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブナマンダブ何しくどく妙の聖祭の本数 shi ojo Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandats, 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 namandats.
Thank you, Reverend Opal. Today, we're listening to an excerpt of a podcast from Reverend Takashi Miyagi.
So today's topic is, what is evil in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism? So for today, instead of looking at a specific social issue, I'm going to be talking a little bit more in depth about the issue of evil in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, which directly involves social engagement and how we may view issues of morality and ethics, and how to go about dealing with social issues from a Jodo Shinshu perspective. So this issue of evil is something that that's very important that we need to take up and to look at it first from the definition of the doctrine of Jodo Shinshu. So there's a lot of places that we can start. There's a lot of places we can talk about this, but I will look at it from beginning with the Tannisho. And the Tannisho is translated as a record in lament of divergences. And it mentions the following quote, where it states, quote, "Even a good person attains birth in the Pure Land, so it goes without saying that an evil person will," end quote. So I'll read that one more time. Quote, "Even a good person attains birth in the Pure Land, so it goes without saying that an evil person will," end quote. So in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, we say that an quote unquote evil person will attain birth in the Pure Land. And this word or phrase gets misunderstood all throughout the history of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. It was misunderstood while Shinran was alive. It was misunderstood just after he died. In fact, that is why this issue is mentioned in this book. This work was actually written by a disciple of Shinran's. We believe it to be Yu Yanbo, who was addressing the various grave misunderstandings of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. So before he died, Yu Yan took it upon himself to record what he thought, what he was taught by his teacher Shinran, and to rectify and set in stone the various misunderstandings of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, one of which was this whole idea of antinomianism, this idea that, well, if you're already saved by Amida Buddha, then why can't we just go around and do whatever we want, right? Live a life of hedonism, not giving a care, raping and pillaging the earth and everyone around us, destroying everything that we see. In fact, unless we do bad things, we're not showing our faith in the ability of Amida Buddha's salvific activity. And this is one of the gravest misunderstandings of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, and it happens from the time of Shinran Shonin all throughout the history of Jodo Shinshu Buddhism, because everybody's ignorance will give way to this misunderstanding. So then the question becomes, why did Shinran feel the need to mention that the quote-unquote evil person gets saved? There are a number of ways I think we could answer this. And the first is to explain the actual explanation that is given in the Tannisho. Here it says that a good person believes in the self's ability to attain enlightenment or birth in the Pure Land by one's own power. Relying on the self to be a good person and do acts and become a Buddha by one's own strength entails that one does not see the need in relying on Amida Buddha's salvific working. When one believes in one's own ability to be able to do something, why rely on something other than the self? If I believe I can do something, why entrust myself in anything other than me, right? And this is a natural way to think in this way. The other day, I went to a symposium on Shin Buddhism that was hosted by the AAR, the American Academy of Religions, and the IASBS, or the International Association of Shin Buddhist Studies. The symposium was held online, and one of the main points that they wanted to get across through this symposium was the fact that Buddhism and much of Buddhism is about reliance on the power, on the guidance, on the efficacy of the Buddha or Bodhisattvas. In other words, there is this element of taking refuge in or relying on the Buddha that is completely left out in the conversation of Buddhism here in the West or in America. And this is a very interesting point, I thought. You might hear about Buddhism in words like mindfulness, loving kindness, interdependency, thrown around like everyone knows what that's supposed to mean. Let's look at the example of Zen. Popular culture uses that word to mean anything from like a kind of relaxation, for example, like Zen soaps or massage oils or candles, or Zen is used to mean, intention and focus, which I'm not sure. I mean, that might not be the completely off the mark, but I don't think people are using the word as it's supposed to mean. Of course, I'm not trained in Zen Buddhism, but I've always wondered how Zen Buddhists feel about their words and religion, quite frankly, being used around so haphazardly and nonchalantly. Another word is mindfulness. We throw that word around in conversations to make us sound like we're nice people, caring about the world's problems, and try to use it in a lot of different situations and use it in different fields of study. But what does that word mean exactly? Because I don't know. It can mean a lot of different things. When Shin Buddhism talks about mindfulness, it is the mind of Amida Buddha given to sentient beings. It can also mean the mind that focuses on the Buddha. So we have a specific meaning for that. But I think popular culture uses that word to mean just about anything, really. And I'm not saying that everyone has to adhere to the Shin Buddhist definitions of mindfulness. No, I'm not saying that at all, actually. I'm just saying that the word needs to be defined more clearly when it is used, because it's used all over the place and in a lot of different contexts. So the point I want to make here is that there is an element of reliance, of taking refuge, of having faith in, of having a devotion in, of praising the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. Buddhism is not a self-help teaching that you pick up at Barnes and Nobles or in a magazine while you wait to buy your groceries. This is not a philosophy only, in that it is something thought up by some smart guy in some time in history. Buddhism is a religion. There is an element of faith and devotion involved, and we praise the Buddha for the Buddha's teaching and guidance. We cannot forget this point as Buddhists here in America. Popular culture will try to have you believe otherwise, as if relying on something other than yourself is a show of weakness. It is not a weakness. It is a strength. It is a strength to admit what you are not able to do. And this is what Shinran is trying to get us to understand through this explanation in the Tanisho. Shinran explains that a good person actually doesn't see the need in relying on Amida Buddha's great compassion. However, an evil person, someone who awakens to the understanding that one is filled with blind passions and does not have the ability to attain birth in the Pure Land, sees that he or she needs the help of Amida Buddha's other power. This is why the evil person, or maybe I should say, this is why the quote unquote evil person, someone who recognizes one's own plight of not being able to be free from suffering, is able to attain birth in the Pure Land.
All right, that was it, guys. That was part of a podcast from Reverend Takashi Miyagi. I thought it was really interesting the first time that I heard it and could lead to some good things in our Dharma discussion. Minister's Assistant Chad Donahoe is now going to lead us in the threefold refuge. That's on page 10. I'll share my screen again for those of you that don't have your own service book. Thank you.
Difficult is it to receive a human form. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us with sincerity and true reverence take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we, together with all sentient beings, awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we, together with all sentient beings, enter the storehouse of the Dharma, becoming like the wisdom ocean. I take refuge in the Sangha. May we, together with all sentient beings, become units in true accord, in harmony with all things. The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter, even in many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda.
We thank everyone for attending today's virtual service. As an all-volunteer Sangha, we truly appreciate all donations and efforts. Without your continued support, we could not do such things as assist with continuing education or providing a place for all to come and listen to the Dharma. Although we cannot meet in person, many volunteers continue to maintain our temple and keep it functioning so that when we are able to meet again, the space will be ready. If you would like to donate, you can do so by sending a check to the temple at 927 South Perry Street or via the link on our website. You can also feel free to email the temple if you ever have any further questions. We're now going to have time for a few short announcements, so I'll allow everyone to unmute themselves if they have anything to say. If you didn't submit your announcements prior to service, go ahead and type them into the chat box and we will try to get to you.
Tina, would you like to go ahead and go first with the announcement?
Yes. Am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay, so you can hear me? Yeah,
Yes.
we just want to remind everyone that we are taking donations to help Jules Helping Hands with their electricity bill. You can donate through our website. I believe you can also send checks to the temple, if I'm not mistaken. So that's it. Thank you.
Amanda, would you like to share your good news?
Yes. My good news is I learned that I'm starting the Jodo Shinshu correspondence course on March 1st. So I've been waiting for such a long time. I'm excited to get started. Thank you.
We're very excited. She got bumped up
yes.
a couple semesters. So this is great news. If you're interested in hearing the rest of Reverend Miyagi's podcast, there was still about another 20 minutes or so that is available to listen to. You can find it on Apple Podcasts or wherever you download your podcasts. It's called No Doubt. And there's several episodes on there. And then do also check out the latest Wheel of Dharma. If you haven't gotten your copy in the mail, or if you're not a member, you can go on to the BCA website. And there's information about not only Reverend Miyaji's podcast and his time being interviewed by NPR, but also several other Shin Buddhist podcasts. So it's a great way to kind of add the Dharma to your week and take some time to listen to that. Also, next week is at BCA website, you can sign up for Saturday mornings course, which will be on Honen, the Revolutionary, and that'll be taught by Dr. Mark Blum. And Dr. Blum is a professor at Berkeley, and he lectures quite often on jodo shinshu Buddhism, both Nishi Honganji, which is our school, and the Higashi side of jodo shinshu as well. And so I highly recommend that. And Mary Neighbor said group study of the Tani show would be really enlightening. For those of that hung out with us this summer, we did about, I think, the first 5 chapters or so, maybe 6. But always would be happy to do that again and start that back up. And I think that is all of our announcements. Thank you.
In place of Oshoko, we'll now have a few moments of quiet sitting to think on the Buddha and to express our gratitude for the teachings. And don't sign off after that. We will have our Dharma discussion, a little socializing as well. Thank you.
That now concludes our Sunday service, and we'll stop our Facebook Live. For those that will not be joining us for discussion group, I hope you have a great Sunday. If you're a Super Bowl fan, I hope you enjoy your afternoon, and stay safe and be kind.